This is a critique of Ray Dalio's How the Economic Machine Works video by the Naked Economist. My summary? It's pretty good looking backwards, but there's a bit of work to be done looking forwards, and I've got some suggestions. I'm Damien Lillicrap, the Naked Economist. In my day job, I look after the investment strategy for a $40 billion Australian superannuation fund, but it's not the fund's view that I'm expressing today. I've also written an easy reading book called Kitchen Table Economics and Investing. It is my views, with my author's hat on, that I am speaking today. In this video I'll explain what it is I disagree with in Ray's video and what I like, why young people need to get involved in the economic conversation or pay the consequences for a long time. I'll also present a framework for getting out of the economic mess that we are still in 5 years after the crisis began. I'm an Aussie, but I'll say we a lot in this video. We have interlinked global systems, we have global challenges, and my country is exposed to the stability and sustainability of what is going on in the major economies around the world. We are all in this together. Let's start with some of the positives. I do think Ray's video is a great introduction to a number of concepts. For instance, I love the graphical representation of debt he portrays, where he conveys the concept of debt being like borrowing from your future self. I also love Ray's simple, to the point of genius, man walks into a bar explanation of credit creation. In fact, I think Ray's video is so good it should be played at every school across the country, in schools across the world, as part of the curriculum to help them understand how important elements of the economy work, particularly about credit creation. I also think that my easy reading book, Kitchen Table Economics and Investing, should be part of the global curriculum. There is a lot in the book that agrees with Ray, though I go into a little more detail, still in an easy reading way. But there are key elements that are different. But, first things first. Young people of the world, wise up. One of the smartest investors in the world has just produced a video showing that debt levels in the US are currently more than twice as bad as they were in the lead up to the Great Depression, and is telling you that from such levels things typically end badly. I've also written a book telling you that across the globe issues from today are getting somewhat swept under the carpet by borrowing from the future. So what is the most clear and present intergenerational issue of our time? Global warming or economic debt loads? At least young people get global warming, and there is action here. Many talk about the financial crisis as if it was a shock, not a symptom of a bigger problem. I believe that economic debt loads are a more certain issue than global warming. They are here and now. They are affecting people in Europe, for example, 25% unemployment rates. The youth of today are not crying out enough about this. If they don't speak up, people will keep shoving the load onto them. I think that economic debt loads will cause more pain and suffering and lower quality of life over the next 20 years than global warming. Intergenerational issues basically trade off a short-term improvement in things against adding to long-term issues. If Ray is right about money printing, then there is a free lunch. All will be okay. She'll be right, mate, as they say over here. But if he's not right, young people had better know and understand the hole that the older generation is digging them into. If they don't like it, they'd better speak up, because at the moment, silence is acquiescence. I pulled out the red slides, the fiery background. Not too dramatic for your hope. But here's some themes that I hear regularly from professional investors on some of the biggest economies around the world. In the US, it's engaged in one of the biggest economic science experiments of all time. On the Eurozone, it can't work in its current form, but it's hard to see how the Eurozone will make the changes that it needs to make, given its political situation, in order to be able to work. On Japan, well, that they have twice as much debt as the US, that they have growth problems and demographic problems. There's a lot of issues out there. And the word from China from the locals is that the Chinese economy is like the movie Speed. You know, the one about the bus that couldn't slow down without blowing up. They say it can't go on forever like this, but can't slow down. And while we'd like to think that our experience, that they have fixed it before, would count for something, over this whole period that we've been working, they didn't fix it. They put it on the credit card. Hopefully now I have you engaged. I apologise if I've made some of the intentions of the authorities sound worse than they were. The challenges the authorities have had to deal with have been significant. However, things did end up on the credit card. We do have problems now. I don't think people intended to dud the next generation. I believe that they honestly thought, or at least hoped, things would work out better than they have. The authorities, central banks and governments, typically tend towards short-term measures, such as lower interest rates and deficits, as opposed to balancing these off against longer-term solutions. This is because these measures tend to help now. They are a relatively certain positive, and they may not be a problem down the track. Their future is uncertain. So while their intentions may not be bad, unless you speak up, the incentive for them is to do more of the same. Incentives are what economics are about. Understanding the incentives is like understanding a landscape. From there you know water tends to flow downhill. If you want things to change, you have to provide the incentive. You have to demand change of the authority. Ray has provided 3 rules. Don't have debt rise faster than income. Don't have income rise faster than productivity. And do all you can to raise productivity. These are great for not getting us into trouble, although somewhat theoretical, as they don't tell us how to change the incentives to get these things to happen. Thirdly, they don't get us down from the high ledge that we are on. Ray also provides some mechanisms for beautiful deleveraging. He has 3 mechanisms which are deflationary: cutting spending, reducing debt, and redistributing wealth. And a 4th mechanism that he says is inflationary, printing money. The first point I'd make is that reducing debt and inflation are all forms of redistributing wealth. Inflation is one means of redistributing wealth. If you are in a democracy, you will already have means of redistributing wealth, taxes and government spending. Yes, these things are challenging to try and do properly. Some might even argue that these processes are broken at the moment. But if you try to combine a second process with one that is broken, what are you likely to get? I've prepared a few more slides. I'll let them do the talking and play a bit of music for a bit. Back shortly. So thanks again to Ray for his video. I hope you picked up something from mine. I hope you understand the risks and that they are manageable, but only if you get involved. Share the link. Thanks.